D&D lore can be a lot, I know. And I've spent a lot of time learning about D&D lore ever since I became obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3. We're not talking about strategy or like stats. We're here for the story. So if you want to put on lipstick and talk about juicy lore, stick around because this is Beauty and the Beholder. Selune goes by many names. The Moon Maiden, Our Lady of Silver, she who guides. She is a benevolent and good-leaning goddess. Selune is the goddess of the moon, the stars, wanderers, and navigation. Like her sister Shar, she is one of the primordial goddesses in the Forgotten Realms, meaning she is ancient, she's old, she's been there since the dawn of time. Her being at war with Shar is of course a big part of her story, and I do not mean to gloss over it by any means, but it is something that is completely pertinent to Shar's identity. So definitely check out my video on Shar's lore to learn more about their beef and why they are the way they are and are still at war after all of these years. As seen in her origin story, Selune is a very good goddess. She is all about supporting and protecting life and really just being there for people, you know? She's a pretty good goddess. Honestly, I can see why Shadowheart changed her hair. Her war with her sister Shar literally predates like most of 𝕵𝖕𝖕 history. They are part of the creation tale and even created goddesses like Mystra. Selune is described as calm and placid. Just like the moon, Selune can take on many different appearances, and her avatars include a wide variety. Just like the moon has phases, she's got different looks. Her most common avatar is the form of a feminine woman who has long silver hair and dusky skin. She is ethereal and her hair is like starlight. She's often accompanied by stars and of course moonlight. Just a really like an ethereal goddess. She's beautiful. She can also take the form of a matronly, middle-aged woman with streaks of gray in her hair. Her symbols in iconography are very tied to the moon, so her colors are going to be silvers and blues. Her symbol is that of 2 enchanting blue eyes with 7 stars surrounding the eyes to form kind of like a circle. The crescent moon is also a symbol of hers, and it's often accompanied by stars. You can clearly see a lot of Selunite symbols within Baldur's Gate 3 on, of course, 𝕼𝖆𝖕𝖙 and Dame Aylin's clothing. In Act 1 at the Goblin Camp / Selunite Temple, you can see a lot of Selunite symbols surrounding the camp, especially as you dive deeper in the Selunite outpost in the Underdark. Her gems and stones include moonstones and pearls, and her symbolic animal are wolves. Selune is very tied to lycanthropy and werewolves. Selune actually has the ability to curse or bless lycanthropes, so she can literally turn people into werewolves. Many followers of Selune actually see it as a gift from the Moon Maiden herself. Silver hair, as Isabel is sporting, is also considered one of the Moon Maiden's gifts as well. So Selune is able to provide them the ability to control their werewolf abilities. Worshippers of Selune often include anybody who has the need to navigate. In addition to 𝕬𝖆𝖕𝖙, sailors will often pray to Selune in order to guide them in the night, as well as werewolves. Those that seek protection from darkness are also known to seek Selune's light. Selunite clergy is extensive, with silver stars being like the main clerics of Selunite worship. Silver stars seek to spread hope, joy, and freedom under the Moon Maiden's guiding light. The Church of Selune is incredibly diverse. She takes in a lot of different worshippers. It's really just kind of the nature of Selune. She's very much all about like acceptance and, you know, anybody's welcome here. And because of that, her churches vary. They can vary from humble to incredibly opulent. And it's all because of her accepting nature. She takes in people from all paths of life. Selune is also worshipped by those looking to seek protection while working at night. People that are just looking for the Moon Maiden's protection from other things that might be creeping up in the darkness, which of course, Shar worshippers. Selune rules with a big posse. Dame Aylin is of course introduced in Baldur's Gate 3 as a daughter of Selune. She's an Aasimar. A really good way to kind of describe her would be like a diva. She's kind of like an immortal being and, you know, child of a god. There are, however, other deity-like figures that support Selûne, and those include the Shards of Selûne. These shards were like 7 servants of the goddess. Think of them kind of like 𝕮𝖆𝖕𝖙, but with blue hair. Shards were able to be created by the goddess Selûne. They were particularly favored, or, you know, one of her chosen. That's a pretty big honor. I mean, like, shards could be summoned by the Church of Selûne through ritual. The cool thing about Shards of Selûne was that they could return to the material plane to, you know, sometimes they'd go and visit old lovers. Apparently, that's one way that Aasimar of Selûne came about in Faerûn. One ritual of Selûne's includes moon festivals. Moon festivals are exactly what they sound like. They are celebrations of the moon phases. Selûne worship is very ritualistic, like they have any excuse. I mean, it's just like witches. Like, if you're gonna be witchy, you might as well have as many opportunities to do witchy shit, you know? There are 2 really important rituals to Selûnites. One is the Mystery of the Night. The Mystery of the Night must be performed once every year by each priest. During this ritual, they cast secret spells and lie before the Moon Maiden's altar. They basically then fly up and like spiral around the moon, and they're basically in this like trance state where they get to talk to Selûne through visions. So they're talking to their goddess while they're up there. There's also the conjuring of the second moon, and this is where shards come down to do, you know, Selûnite priests' bidding. Selûnite clergy will often leave offerings of milk every full moon and new moon. One of the most notable Selûnite temples is the House of the Moon in Waterdeep. The temple in Waterdeep is the most like opulent Selûnite temple there is. It's got this big old glittery dome. And this is where the High Priestess sits. Selûnites even make pilgrimages to this spot. Another ritual that Selûnites undergo that you might recognize from BG3 is a coming of age ritual. This is where the Selûnite child will essentially left alone in the forest and will have to navigate their way back home. This is the way for the child or adolescent undergoing the ritual to use the Moon Maiden's light. As we saw with shadowheart, how her father was the wolf, it looks like there might be, you know, involvement from other Selûnites. Selûnites also have this holiday called Mistress Day, where they actually celebrate the companionship, the relationship that Mystra and Selûne have together. I feel like that's just like a cute little detail, like a mother-daughter day that's freaking adorable. Selûne has plenty of allies, unlike her sister Shar. So actually it'd be easier to talk about her enemies before we go into her allies. Her enemies include Shar. Surprise! She often just like does not like anybody generally aligned with darkness, like Lolth. It's just not her thing, you know? Like, Shar, she lets Shar have her thing, and she's just like, you do you. I don't want any part of that. I will probably actively work against it. Selûne is cool with Mystra, though, of course. She is her mother. And pretty much anybody who's, like, against Shar is probably good friends with Selûne. A lot in common there, you know? She's also pretty cool with Lathander, who is the god of dawn, and just generally pretty cool with gods that are good aligned. One great way to play as a Selûnite in your Dungeons & Dragons games or in Baldur's Gate 3 would be, of course, a cleric. The light, twilight, moon domains would be really good for a cleric here. You know, you're a beacon of hope and protection, and you save people and heal people. You're just a good person. You know, as a cleric, you're the one who could be providing the silver lining and showing people the bright side of things. Just overall being a positive light. I really did not mean for there to be so many puns in this, I promise. You know, maybe a flaw of yours is that you believe that anyone can be redeemed and that anyone can be brought back into Selûne's light after they have encountered darkness. I wouldn't say, you know, it's not a flaw. But it can be, and it can be played as one. As a paladin, this would be really fun to play because it just fits so well. You could do Paladin Oath of the Ancients path, because of course Selûne and Shar are incredibly ancient. You swore an oath to protect all of Selûne's creations, which is the whole world, because if it weren't for Selûne, none of that would be here. So you defend the natural world, you fight against evil. This is a big responsibility. You know, just what would Selune do? Maybe you start each day with a ritual, or something that aligns with the moon cycle. For role-playing here as a paladin, maybe you're literally always defending the helpless. You put yourself in harm's way just to do it, to defend the defenseless. Perhaps you have a very deep bond with plants or animals. I feel like werewolves or canine species would be really, really cool here, as they are so closely tied to Selune's grace. Now, as a sorcerer, maybe your magic comes directly from Selune. You are the picture of the Moon Maiden's grace. That's you. Maybe you are an Aasimar, like 𝕮𝖆𝖕𝖙. You are one of Selune's chosen. There is something divine about your magic that's different from others. Your spells glow with silvery moonlight, just like Selune. And maybe that's also part of your struggle. Maybe you feel a little bit out of place because you feel more tied to just a different plane. In similar ways that 𝕮𝖆𝖕𝖙 is like a little weird. I feel like you could also kind of incorporate that otherworldliness into a quirk of your character. I just want you to know by now, like, I am just having fun with my makeup over here. My approach to makeup is to do it as if I was a 5-year-old who just got into my mom's makeup bag. Or you can be a little bit more of like a wackier Selunite, who's all about like, I can't do anything unless the phases of the moon allow me to. I'm really scared, but I want to do like the little under eye thing because that's what Selune's symbol is. Overall, I feel like with the diversity of Selunites, there's so much that you could do with the character that worships Selune. Drop a comment and let me know what deities you'd like to see next. And if you had fun, give this little video a little like, that way we can get the algorithm doing its thing. Thank y'all so much. I had so much fun talking about juicy lore with y'all. Ciao!